Hi, this is Dr. Bill Berkowitz with Life Chiropractic in Grass Valley. I want to talk to you about what I consider the 6 critical legs to a successful stress treatment program. Now, why are we talking about stress? First, it's estimated that 90% of all illness and disease is stress related. 75 to 90% of all doctor's visits are for stress related conditions. The other thing I want to impress upon you, because stress is really misunderstood, is that stress is not what happens to you, but it's how your nervous system responds to the conditions, the situations, the events of your life. So we can't change most of those situations, most of those events. Much of what is considered stress happens and it's out of your control. So managing stress, to me, is a recipe for failure. So let's look at the 6 critical legs to transforming the impact of stress on you, to successfully treating stress, even though really we're not treating stress, but we are changing its impact, and that's the best thing. Number one, transforming stress is a process. Everything involved with health outside of acute trauma is a process. It happens over time. It's taken you years, likely decades, to get to where you are in terms of the impact of stress. And I don't care if it means fatigue, if it's poor sleep, if it's indigestion or ulcers, constipation. I don't care if it's high blood pressure, if it's a weakened immune system, if it's chronic inflammation, if it's headaches, neck pain, back pain, anxiety, and the list goes on. It has taken you a lifetime to get to where you are. If you want to change that, it's going to take some time. It's going to take time and repetition. The good news is it's going to happen in a fraction of the time that it took for you to get to where you are, but it will take some commitment. The critical leg number 2 is we need to remove tension and interference to your vagus nerve. That lies in your upper neck right in front of the first cervical vertebra. The vagus nerve is your highway to wellness. If we get the vagus nerve functioning better, you have greater relaxation, greater ease, better sleep, better digestion, really a reversal of everything that I just listed as an impact of stress. So we need to remove tension and interference to the vagus nerve. Critical leg number 3 is you need to stop consuming excess stimulants and sedatives. That's coffee, tea, any caffeine, alcohol, cannabis. You need to tone that down. They will all interfere with sleep. They are just going to cover up the impact of stress. They are not going to change it. And over time, they're going to contribute to a progressive worsening of it. Critical leg number 4 is you need to find new ways of breathing. And there's 2 parts to this. This critical leg refers to nasal breathing. In our culture, we often breathe through our mouth. Newsflash, the mouth was designed to eat, to drink, and to talk, but not for breathing. So if you're not eating, you're not drinking, you're not talking, shut your mouth. Breathe through your nose. Slow your breathing down. Really slow so that you barely notice the air coming in and out. Just by doing that, think about that. That's sending a message to the nervous system that everything's okay. Because if you're caught in a cycle of fear or anxiety or there's danger, your breathing's going to be rapid. So that's critical leg number 4. Critical leg number 5 is what I call conscious breath work. There are a number of techniques that have literally been used for thousands of years that will impact raising the activity or tone of that vagus nerve that I mentioned. And the more you raise the activity of the vagus nerve, the more you lower the baseline activity of that fight or flight system that is driving the impact of stress. And the last critical leg is to prioritize sleep. Now, this is a double-edged sword because stress tends to interfere with sleep, and poor sleep tends to drive the impact of stress, and it becomes a self-perpetuating cycle. The more we can remove tension from the vagus nerve and start to activate the vagus with breath work, the better sleep you will get. But you need to prioritize it. You need to carve out enough time that you're getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. That's not 7 to 8 hours in bed. Depending on how long it takes you to get to sleep, you need to add that into that time period. So likely you need to at least 7.5 to 8.5 hours in bed to get that 7 to 8 hours. That's for the vast majority of people. So if you think you function well on less sleep, it's likely that that's not true. You're deceiving yourself. So you need to prioritize sleep. A couple things about sleep. You want to go to bed about the same time every night. You want your room to be as dark as possible. You want electronics out of the room, no lights at all. You want it to be cool, preferably under 65 degrees, likely under 60 degrees. And you want to make that a regular practice. You want to avoid stimulants after noon. You want to avoid alcohol in the afternoon. And you want to avoid any kind of stimulating activity, whether that's reading or watching screens. Make sure to subscribe to my social media channels where I regularly post valuable information. Also, you can find great information on my website, lifewithinchiropractic.com. There's also a scheduling link there if you'd like to schedule a visit to the office. Have a great day.